The testimonies featured on this channel are presented as received, reflecting the personal experience and perspectives of the individuals who have generously shared them with us. We do not verify or authenticate the events described. We encourage our viewers to approach these testimonies with compassion and understanding, as these are personal testimonies of people involved. We also encourage you to always refer to the Holy Bible and the teachings of Jesus Christ and his apostles for guidance. There are moments in life when a single event changes everything. A single nightmare that feels too real to ignore. A single encounter that forces us to question everything we once believed. This is the story of Miriam, a woman who was once deeply devoted to Islam. Raised in a home where the call to prayer was more familiar than her own heartbeat. But one night, she had a dream that would alter the course of her eternity. In that dream, she found herself standing at the gates of hell. Beside her was her father, a respected Islamic preacher who had dedicated his entire life to spreading the teachings of Islam. They had both lived with certainty, with unwavering faith in their religion. And yet in this dream, they were not standing before the gates of paradise. They were in flames. As the fire licked at their bodies and the cries of the damned filled the air, Miriam heard voices, one divine, one demonic. God spoke. The devil laughed. This dream was not just a nightmare. It was a warning, and it would send Miriam on a path she never expected, a path that led her straight to Christ. Let's hear from Miriam.
I don't know if you will believe me. Some of you might say it was just a dream. Others might think I lost my mind. But I know what I saw. I know what I felt. And I know that it was real. I was born into a strict Muslim home. My father was an Islamic preacher, well respected in our community. From the time I could walk, I was taught to pray, to recite the Quran, to submit fully to Allah. I never questioned my faith. I never doubted my father's teachings. Until the night that changed everything. It was late. I had finished my Isha prayers and gone to bed as usual. But that night, my sleep was different. It wasn't sleep at all. It was as if my soul had been taken somewhere else. I found myself standing in a vast, empty place. The air was thick, suffocating. The ground beneath my feet was blackened, cracked like something had been burned there for centuries. And in the distance, I heard something that made my blood run cold. Screaming. It wasn't normal screaming. It was deep, raw, the kind that comes from a pain that never ends. I turned around, and that's when I saw it. A massive gate stood before me, stretching endlessly in both directions. It was made of something dark, like iron twisted by wicked hands. Fire burned behind it, and as it creaked open, the heat rushed out and slammed into me like a wave. That's when I saw them. People. Thousands, millions, burning. Their skin was peeling, their flesh melting, yet they did not die. They could not die. They just kept screaming, kept reaching for something, someone to help them. And then, I saw my father. He was kneeling in the flames, his hands raised, pleading. His white robe was in tatters, his once dignified beard singed and smoking. His lips moved in supplication, but his prayers turned to ash before they could leave his mouth. I couldn't breathe. I rushed forward. Father! He turned his head, and the look in his eyes, I will never forget it. Terror. Miriam, he gasped. Why are you here? This place is not for you. Run! But I couldn't run. The fire had wrapped around my ankles, pulling me in. The heat tore at my skin, and the pain was unbearable. I opened my mouth to scream, but then, a voice spoke from above. You have lived in blindness. The ground shook beneath me. The voice was powerful, filled with sorrow yet undeniable authority. You believed in me, but you never knew me. My father wept. Lord, have mercy. And then, another voice. Cold. Slithering. Drenched in pure hatred. No mercy here. A figure rose from the flames, a shadow with burning eyes. The ground cracked beneath its feet, and the very air seemed to tremble in its presence. The devil. You preached for me, the shadow said, its voice dripping with malice. You spoke against him. You denied his son. It pointed a long, clawed finger at my father. You were devoted to the wrong God. Now, you are mine. My father let out a scream unlike anything I have ever heard. Chains shot from the darkness, wrapping around his body. They dragged him deeper into the abyss, and no matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free. I screamed. No! Take me instead. The devil laughed. You will join him soon. Then, a blinding light. The fire recoiled, the darkness shrieked. A figure stepped forward, draped in white robes, radiating power so pure that even the flames bowed before him. He was not like the others. He was different. He was him. Let her go, the figure commanded. The devil hissed. She is not yours. She belongs to. She is mine. With those words, the chains around me snapped. The fire vanished. The darkness screamed and retreated into the void. And for the first time in my life, I felt peace. Then I woke up. I gasped for air, my body drenched in sweat. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely move. The room was dark, but the dream, the vision, still burned in my mind. I had seen hell. And my father was there. Everything I had believed, everything I had been taught, it was all wrong. But what could I do? I had to know the truth. I had to know who Jesus really was. The next morning, I walked through the house like a ghost. My father sat in the courtyard, sipping his tea, looking so normal. But all I could see was the image of him in hell, screaming for mercy that would never come. I wanted to tell him. I wanted to warn him. But how? I sat across from him, my hands trembling. Baba, I said softly, have you ever wondered what happens after death? He looked at me over his cup. Of course. Those who follow Allah will enter Jannah. Those who reject him, he paused. His face darkened. They will face Jahannam. I swallowed. My voice shook. But what if we are wrong? Silence. His expression changed. His eyes, so warm just a moment ago, turned cold. Why would you ask such a thing? I hesitated. My heart pounded. I had a dream. His jaw tightened. A dream? I opened my mouth to explain, but then I felt it. A presence. Not human. Not of this world. Something dark. Watching. Listening. A chill ran down my spine. Be careful, a voice whispered in my mind. I gasped. Someone, did not want me to speak. I forced a smile. Never mind. It was nothing. He studied me for a long moment, suspicion flickering in his gaze. But finally, he nodded. Good. Do not let the devil deceive you. But I knew. The devil was the one deceiving him. And I had to escape before it was too late. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my father's words ringing in my ears. Do not let the devil deceive you. But what if he was the one who had been deceived? I had seen my father in hell. I had heard the voice, the one who called him out for rejecting the Son of God, and the one who saved me from the flames. He was not just a prophet. He was more. I had to know the truth. So the next day, when my father and brother left for the mosque, I did something I had never done before. I searched for a Bible. I knew it was dangerous. If my family found out, they would think I had betrayed them. But I couldn't ignore what I had seen. I covered myself with a long scarf, pulling it low over my face, and hurried through the streets, keeping my head down. I knew where to go. There was a small Christian bookstore hidden in an alley, a place most Muslims avoided. My heart pounded as I entered. An old man sat behind the counter, his glasses perched low on his nose. He looked up and frowned. You shouldn't be here, he said cautiously. I need a Bible, I whispered. His expression softened. He studied me for a moment, then reached under the counter and slid a small, worn book toward me. Read this in secret, he said. And pray. Jesus will reveal himself to you. I took the book with trembling hands, stuffed it under my shawl, and hurried out. I had no idea how much danger I was in. That night, I read the Bible for the first time. I turned to the Gospel of John, and the first words pierced my soul. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. I swallowed hard. Jesus was the Word? Jesus was God? I kept reading. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Tears filled my eyes. The darkness. The thing that tried to pull me into the fire. The thing that had whispered to me ever since I had that dream. It hated this book. That's when I knew. Jesus was the one who had saved me. He was the truth. But as I prayed, as I whispered his name for the first time, something happened. The air in my room changed. It became thick, heavy. The shadows in the corners stretched unnaturally. Then, a whisper. You belong to us. I froze. My blood turned to ice. A shape emerged from the darkness. Tall. Wrapped in shifting shadows. Its eyes burned like hot coals. I tried to move, but my body was paralyzed. The thing hissed, You think he will save you? You are ours. Terror clawed at my throat. I knew what this was. It was the same presence I had felt when I tried to speak to my father. The enemy. Something inside me screamed, Call his name. I forced my lips to move. Jesus. The second I said it, the creature let out an inhuman shriek. The walls trembled, the air crackled, and the darkness reeled back. I gasped for air. The presence was gone. For the first time, I realized. Jesus' name had power. The devil himself feared it. The next day, I made a decision that would change my life forever. I had to find other believers. I had to follow Christ. But I had no idea that my family was already watching me. That evening, as I was about to sneak out again, my brother appeared in my doorway. Where are you going? He asked. I swallowed hard. Just for a walk. He frowned. Give me your phone. My heart stopped. I had forgotten to delete my messages. I hesitated, and in that moment, he grabbed my wrist and yanked the phone out of my hand. He scrolled through my messages, his face darkening. Then he looked up at me, his eyes filled with rage. You've been talking to Christians? I tried to speak, but my voice failed me. His lips curled in disgust. "You're a disgrace." Then, before I could react, he grabbed me by the hair and slammed me into the wall. Pain exploded through my skull. I collapsed to the floor, gasping. He stood over me, breathing hard. "You are dead to us." Then he turned and stormed out of the room. Tears streamed down my face. I had been exposed. I had no choice now. I had to leave. The next morning, I left home for the last time. I ran through the streets, clutching my Bible, knowing my father and brother would come after me. I had nowhere to go. I was alone. But I knew Jesus was worth everything. I ran until my legs gave out. My breath came in ragged gasps, my heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. I knew my brother was looking for me. I knew my father would be furious. If they caught me, I might never see the outside world again. I pressed my back against the cold stone wall of a narrow alley, my chest rising and falling in painful, shallow breaths. The world around me was blurry, spinning. I had lost everything in a single night, my family, my home, my safety. And for what? A dream? A voice? A name? The doubt crept in like a whisper in the wind. Was this worth it? I shook my head violently. Yes. Because I had seen hell. And I had seen him. I forced myself to move. There was one place I could go, the church. The same small church I had passed by so many times as a child, always warning myself to stay away from the infidels inside. Now, they were my only hope. I reached the church just as dawn was breaking. The old wooden doors loomed in front of me, and for a brief moment, I hesitated. What if they didn't accept me? What if this was all a mistake? I turned, about to leave. Then I heard footsteps behind me. My heart stopped. I spun around. My brother. He was standing at the end of the street, his hands clenched into fists, his eyes dark with rage. And he wasn't alone. 3 other men, our cousins, stood beside him. I knew immediately what this meant. They are here to kill me. My breath caught in my throat. I backed up slowly, my hands trembling. "Miriam!" My brother's voice was like thunder. "Come here. Now." I shook my head. "Please, just listen to me." Silence. He took a step forward, pulling something from his belt. A knife. I felt the blood drain from my face. "If you come now," he said, his voice eerily calm, "we can fix this. You can repent." I swallowed hard. "I can't. I've found the truth." His expression twisted with hatred. "Then you are dead to us." He rushed at me. I barely had time to react. I turned, slamming my hands against the church doors. "Please! Help me!" I screamed. The doors burst open from the inside. Strong arms grabbed me and yanked me inside. I tumbled onto the floor, gasping for breath. The doors slammed shut behind me. And suddenly, all I could hear was the pounding of fists outside. "Give her back," my brother roared. "She belongs to us." But the pastor, the same old man who had given me the Bible, stood firm. "She belongs to Jesus now." For 3 days, I stayed hidden in the church. I barely ate. I barely slept. Outside, my family was searching for me. My name was spreading through the community, and not in a good way. I had dishonored them. My father made a public announcement. If anyone saw me, they were to report me immediately. I had become a fugitive. And all because I had chosen Jesus. One night, as I sat in the corner of a small room in the church, the pastor came to me. He knelt beside me, his kind eyes filled with sorrow. "You have a choice to make, Miriam," he said softly. I looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "You can run," he said. "We can help you escape the country. You can start a new life somewhere safe." My heart ached. That was what I wanted, wasn't it? To be safe. To be free. But the pastor wasn't finished. "Or," he said, "you can stay. You can be a witness. You can be a light in the darkness." Tears burned my eyes. If I stayed, I would always be hunted. If I stayed, my own family might kill me. But if I ran, what would happen to the others? The ones like me, who were secretly doubting, who were trapped in fear. I closed my eyes. And I remembered. The fire. The chains. My father's screams. And the voice of Jesus, pulling me out of the darkness. I opened my eyes. I will stay. From that day on, I lived as a hidden believer. I moved from place to place, staying with other secret Christians. I met people like me, former Muslims who had encountered Jesus in dreams, visions, or through his word. We worshipped in secret. We prayed in whispers. We shared the gospel carefully, knowing that discovery could mean imprisonment or death. But I was no longer afraid. I had lost my earthly family. But I had gained something greater. A new family. A new home. And most of all, I had Jesus. And he was worth it all. This is my story. I am Miriam. And I will never turn back. Because I know the truth. And the truth has set me free.